Okay.
Yeah, now you're recording. It's starting all over.
Okay.
It was recorded.
Okay, it's good.
It was just 1 second.
Because now it says, now Hashem knows, now that He did it for me, because now it proved it. Now mimeni, it's because the only reason why He's doing it is because God said, I requested it from Him. So it's the same answering both questions of that special terminology in the pasuk. In life, we get to certain cross points, challenges, opportunities in our life, which I always like to call them the moment of truth. And it's an opportunity, the way I look at it and the way I not only that from the Zera Shimshon, but just in general, the Torah refers to it as a moment to upgrade one's own level to be a better individual, an individual closer to God. So this could be a very good situation, opportunity that comes up. It could be a hard and trying challenge that comes up. It could be going against one's own nature, which was Abraham's success in his 10th and final test. These are moments of truth. These are moments of opportunity to upgrade one's own level to be that closer person to God that we are supposed to be. To some of us, it's hard to wake up in the morning. To some of us, Shabbat is hard to keep. To some of us, learning Torah is very hard. To some of us, Tzniut is very hard. Each and every one of us have something which is hard. To many, our nature is short-fused, angry, non-stop. To others, it's being arrogant, the opposite of humility. And to some, it's lying and cheating. But it doesn't matter what it is. At those moments of truth, those challenges, those tests that come to us, those are the opportunities that we have to, I love to say it in Hebrew, lishadreg. To upgrade yourself. That's the best word, yeah? To upgrade yourself. I learned that living in Israel with the different phone plans, to upgrade the plan. To upgrade yourself to be a greater and bigger individual. And that's what Avraham did. And that's why this was his test. This was his moment of truth. Leaving his father's house was a very hard thing. It was a test. Brit Milah. All 9 of them. But this one, God and the Torah considers his final blow, which sealed his commitment to God. And I've shared before, and I'll share it again. Just to give you an example, this is not the be-all and end-all example, but I'll give you a personal example. Always growing up, and Baruch Hashem, I have my parents to testify for me, I was a very finicky individual. When I say finicky, I didn't like, and I still don't like, bugs, or dirt, or wild animals. I liked stuff clean. I like stuff, no exotic extra things, just... There we go.
It's very hard to believe. Very hard.
So there you go. So Joel's sitting next to me, and he says he finds that hard to believe. So look what I did. I made a decision. I was 21. And I made a decision. Baruch Hashem, my wife was pregnant with our first. I made a decision that I want to go against my nature and learn to be a mohel. Learn to perform circumcision. Which is, till today, against my nature. I don't like blood. I don't like operations. It's not me. It's not my nature. And I made the commitment to jump full force into it, in order that hopefully we didn't know my wife was having our son. We didn't know that it was our son. And in the case that it would be a boy, I'll be able to fulfill this mitzvah, the opportunity of our own father performing the circumcision on his own son. Just because God said so. And more so, I had intention, just because it's against my nature. I want to go, there's an inyan, a concept amongst the musar, the Baalei Musar, to take your traits that you have that are very hard according to your nature, and go bend over backwards for them, and that will give you strength in all other traits. And Baruch Hashem, so I did. Wow. And I broke my nature, to the point today, we're doing a Brit Milah, I don't even think about it. It's on autopilot. Yet you'll show me something else that's bloody or something else that I get a little Uncomfortable is the best word.
Anxiety.
Not anxiety, thank God, but uncomfortable. And then, 3 years later, I said I was going to take a harder step. To some, it might not be harder. I said I was going to learn to be a shohet, to slaughter animals. To me, which was completely against my nature. I remember the first time I picked up a chicken, I almost fainted. I'm serious. And I learned it to go against my nature and to break those natural tendencies and that boundary that I had in order to fulfill a obligation in Torah commandment. That reason and that reason only. For both of those situations. And thank God, we saw blessing from it. So I'm just giving that as an example for us to sometimes look at these challenges and these natural parts of our nature which we feel like we could never overcome, or it's just too hard for us to do. But if a person puts their mind and their concentration and prays to God for help to do it, it can and it will be done. If we have very, very hard issues with anger, we have to sometimes wait for the next opportunity, or the next opportunity is already at your doorstep and it's right over there. And take it and go opposite, completely opposite your nature. And that's a moment of truth. That's ki ata yadati. God will say, now I know. Now I know how come and why you're doing it. It's not the stuff that are easy. The stuff that are easy are all bring merit, all bring reward. But it's what the hardest test is for an individual that a person gets the greatest reward for, and the seal of commitment to God is finally there. This is the first Dvar Torah of the Zera Shimshon for this week. Second one.
Ata is like
Ata with the ayin. Yeah.
So that's how.
Nice. I like that. Like, very nice. Chazak. Beautiful. Beautiful. The next topic the Zera Shimshon addresses this week is after he finally passes his 10th test, God now gives him his final security for the blessing that he will be blessed and he will be in the land of Israel, him and his descendants. And the words in the pasuk that is brought down for that he will be numerous is Ki barech avarechecha, blessed, O blessed you shall be, ve'arbar be'et zaracha, and your descendants and your offspring will be so numerous, kechocheve hashamayim, as numerous as the stars in the sky. The Zera Shimshon asks, why does God have to say, blessed, O blessed you shall be? Why barech avarechecha? Just barech or avarechecha. Why is it a double terminology of blessed, O blessed you will be? Just tell me he'll be blessed. Why the double? Look what he answers. He answers in a topic where you might not have thought of. And we spoke about this 2 weeks ago. The concept of an unintentional yet negligent murderer. Remember we spoke about this? Reuven was on a ladder chopping wood with an axe. And whether the axe fell out of his hand and killed a passerby, or he fell off the ladder and by falling on him he killed the passerby, or the ladder fell and slipped and it knocked the guy in the head and killed him. However it is, he is now an unintentional, negligent murderer. And we learned the law for him, that he has to quickly run over to the court, to the Bet Din, be judged to see if it was intentional or really unintentional. And if it was unintentional, meaning they didn't know each other, they never had a bad word, they didn't owe one another money, they weren't neighbors, because then obviously there could have been some riffraff. And then from there, he was escorted to the Ir Miklat, the Levite city, which there were 6, 3 on each side of the Jordan River in Israel. And he would have to stay there. Remember we spoke about this, about the Birkat Kohanim? He would have to stay there and live there until the Kohen Gadol would die. We're not going to get into questions on that topic because we spoke about it and it's not the point. But the point is, as he says, the terminology of the verse that says, when that unintentional murderer leaves the Ir Miklat, we said he has to be there because if not, the family of the murdered the murderee, the victim better, is allowed to kill him. It's the law. We learned about this. So what happens is the pasuk says there, im yatso yetze, if he leaves, Osh leaves there. What is it? Why? Just tell me he left. Why are you telling me in a double terminology that he left? He left and he left. So there the Talmud learns that if he leaves intentionally that city, the family of the victim is allowed to kill him. And the double terminology teaches me even if he left unintentionally the city, the family of the victim is allowed to kill him. Similarly, spinning it around on a completely positive note, the Zera Shimshon says, the reason why God is telling Abraham, Barecha Barechecha, two terminologies for blessing, is to show him that he will be blessed for every good deed that him and his descendants will ever do, whether they fulfill the mitzvah intentionally or even by mistake. Even by mistake, that the descendants themselves, and each one who does so, will be blessed and collect merit for such. And an example given that the Zera Shimshon himself gives is if a person is walking and a $20 bill falls out of his pocket, and it happens to be that it makes its way to a poor person. Let's say a poor person found it. It counts as charity from the one who lost the money. That's an unintentional, mistaken mitzvah that you might never even know about, but in the grand accounting in Shemaim, God has it all accounted for as the mitzvah of charity. That's amazing. That means, and I've given an example as such. Imagine you go over to someone, this has happened to some of us, you go over to someone and you give them a little bit of chizuk, you give them a little bit of strength and inspiration, something that the person really, really needed. You put your hand over their shoulder, you cheered them up, you gave them strength to continue and to grow and to do better with themselves. And let's say you never see the person again. And that person goes and becomes an inspired and a successful individual, and you were part of that picture, and you didn't even know about it. It was kind of by mistake you even bumped into that person and gave them a little bit of encouragement. Your merit is very, very, very strong. It's very, very potent, because whether you knew what you did or you didn't know what you did, it always will be a blessing for you. Now this concept works in the opposite as well. The law is, based on the results, a person is judged. I don't care if you intended on shooting a wild animal that was attacking me, but if you shoot the person and you kill the person, you're held accountable. You were trying to do something good, but you didn't. You brought somebody something that in essence, or you gave somebody advice that in essence hurt them. At the end of the day, a person is punished and judged for that. So we have to know that it's a double-edged sword. Mistakes for the good work in our benefit, but mistakes for the bad also do. If a person by mistake slips a word, an improper word about somebody, it was a mistake. A person is liable for such and therefore needs to go and ask forgiveness and do teshuvah on it and make stuff better. But this concept of mistakes, if it really holds concrete results, also hold value to God. So to us, ending off on a positive note, Abraham is told by God, for you and your further generations, Barecha Barechecha, you will always be blessed. You'll be blessed on every good thing you do, even if they didn't know it was good, even if they didn't know it was a mitzvah. And therefore, as the descendants of Avraham Avinu, we always try to understand what we do and why we do it and how we do it. And that obviously, it goes without saying, once one connects more to a mitzvah, they're able to fulfill it better and they get more merit for it. But don't think something good that you've ever done does not go unrewarded. every single thing that a person does that's good goes rewarded. And hopefully all the things that we did which are not so good, with our teshuvah and our betting of our ways and Yom Kippur, all gets absolved, and we're left with only hopefully all the good, all the intentional good. And the chidush from the Zera Shimshon this week is even all the unintentional good that we have done also brings us merit. May the learning of tonight be Leilu Nishmat, obviously our holy author, Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani, as well as a refuah shlema too. Do you have a list? To Gila's list. And anyone else?
Shalom Ben Sol.
To Shalom Ben Sol, Bezrat